For us here, teaching it should be from the heart, with a passion, and engaging with our students should be treated as a family. They are our future, and we are a part of their generation. Hence, we are not only sharing the knowledge, but also life experiences and develop the integrated thinking. We are developing a life-balanced environment so that our students will be able to recognize the beauty of the nature, respect to the differences, and they will have more love, more compassion, and more gentleness with all the academic journey they are having at our faculty.
Graduating from international course program, Universitas Tisakti gave me numerous advancements because international class provide experienced lecturers not only from Universitas Tisakti but also from many other universities around the world such as Australia, United States, Netherlands, and United Kingdom. Lecturers will share experience and knowledge not only theoretically but also in real life experience.
Our entrepreneurial culturally qualified graduates that have a sustainable development perspective. We strive toward an international standard faculty while keeping local values in developing knowledge to improve the nation's quality of life.
Trisakti University is the place where international and local values are merged, which strives and puts ahead the competition through outcome-based education. We are proud of our timeless and tireless dedication to globally and to develop a wider stakeholder value proposition, which is a mark of sustainability. Library. Lectures office. Administration office. Lecture hall. Auditorium hall. Meeting room. Management Office.
Hello everyone, I'm Sylvia Sandiasmara Devi, graduated from Master of Management, Faculty of Economics. Is helpful, good luck, and best wishes for you.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Global Disruptive Challenges in Supply Chain 4.0. All right, let me try to share my screen. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining our event today. Really appreciate it, especially for those of you already joining on time or maybe even earlier. Thank you very much. First of all, let me try to introduce myself. My name is Ali Raiza, and please call me Ray, and I will be the host for the next 1 hour, for the next 60 minutes. So please bear with me, with my voice and my face. And obviously, I'm not alone today. We do have amazing speakers and also special guests. Let me try to say hi first. First, I would like to say hi to our special guest, Dr. Yolanda Masmita Siagian, MMCIRR. Good afternoon, Buyol. Is Buyol already here? Yolanda? Maybe not yet. All right. Then I would like to say hi to our first speaker, Dr. Wahyuningsih Santosa, ME, MPhil, CRP. Good afternoon, Buning.
Good afternoon, Mbak Rai. Hi.
It's always
Thank you.
pleasure to meet you, Ibu.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Yes. So Buning will be our first speaker in today's event, and she will share a lot of good stuff, guys. So please pay attention until the end of presentations. And I would like to say hi as well to amazing speaker, Mr. Walid Goda. Good afternoon, sir, or should I say good evening to you?
Good evening. I hope everyone is well, and I'm very delighted to be on the call today.
Well, we are very happy to have you. I cannot see you though right now yet. Okay, so your name is Mr. Walid, but should I call you with Mr. Will?
Yeah, my name is Walid Gouda, but everyone here calls me Will.
Cool.
I'm
All
happy
right.
with either one.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for attending and sharing your expertise today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, looking forward for your presentations later on. All right, guys. So in this today's event, we're gonna talk more about obviously the disruptive challenges in supply chain 4.0. We will start with the foundations theory. Buning will present more about the barriers and enablers for supply chain 4.0, and then continue with Mr. Will Koda as our second speaker, and he's gonna talk more about the practicality side. What's going on in industry right now? What are the innovations and technology needed in industry supply chain 4.0, definitely. All right, but before we start our event, we do have a little bit games for you. All right, so please, I really ask you to join our ice-breaking games. Take out your phone and then scan the barcode, or you can join at slido.com, #2353168. So scan the barcode, please. Mr. Will, Buning, ladies and gentlemen, you can join our ice-breaking a little bit before we come into our event. So please scan barcode and then answer the questions. There will be 3 questions. What is supply chain management? It's very easy. We want to know like the definitions for everyone can be different. So let's join our ice-breaking. You can scan the barcode or join at slido.com, #2353168. So what is supply chain management? When you hear the name supply chain management, what comes up into your mind? Okay. For Bapak Ibu lecturer, please welcome also to join operations, logistic, right. What else? Okay, only two people that actually answering. Okay, operations, logistic, planning, right? There is logistic, planning, designing maybe, right? So a lot of things that, related to supply chain management. Okay, logistic, most of them is logistic, right? As the same as my background behind me is actually one's legacy. Okay, connect countries. True, connect 10 countries, that's actually right, because of, with the logistic, can be connecting one to another country. I do agree on that. All right, next questions. So next questions, what are the challenges in supply chain 4.0? What do you think will be the challenges in Industry 4.0 or supply chain 4.0? Again, if you haven't scanned the barcode, please scan the barcode or join at slider.com #2353168. What are the challenges? Digitalizations. All right, that's true. Maybe like in every, one or another country has a different technology, laws, digital, all true, rules, government rules, connectivity, distributions and inventory, global macro, time efficiency, connections, obviously, infrastructure. True, infrastructure is one of the problem. I would say accurate forecasting. True, because supply chain management also related to planning. Millennial. I'm not sure about millennial, but innovations, connections, connectivity, infrastructure. Okay, that's true. Thank you very much for joining. Manpower readiness. True, manpower readiness is going to be different in one to another country or area, right? Okay, thank you. That's amazing. All right, last questions. So after we're talking about the challenges, so what are the skills do you need to have in supply chain industry nowadays? What are the skills do you think? Collaborations. Okay. All right. Because we connect to like one area to another country, and then we also connecting from one to another country and city. Collaborations also needed. Technology, true, because technology means like the manpower needs to be ready, right? With the technology, with digitalizations. All right, what else, guys? For those of you who haven't scanned the barcode, please also scan the barcode and joining the game. Or join at slider.com #2353168. Communications. Okay, communications is also very it's not very necessary. Time management, manage supply with another supply from other country. Okay, so it's like connections between countries. Yeah, forecasting. So forecasting needs also very, very important. Data science, true, data science. This is also very important skill that we need to have. Data analyzing, how to visual data, forecasting. What else? Teamwork, obviously. I don't think it's only like 4.0 supply chain, but it's needed. Okay, so communications. 23531. Okay, this is like the room of the slider. Okay, all right. Okay, technology, public policy skill. Okay, interesting. Innovations, communication, time management, big data. So when we see about like when we see like the definitions of supply chain more into planning and then operations, logistics, and the challenge is actually manpower and connecting between countries from your answer, and also the skills that needed is actually technology, how to use the technology very well, and communications, and also public policy, because like we're connecting between countries, right? Okay, all right, that's very interesting. So I would say the summary of like this game, supply chain is more into like connecting, like from the start forecasting until delivering the product, and then how to solve the problem in the logistic part, right? And also how to make the data, analyze the data and visualize the data, so you actually can make the right forecast, and then make the right product and delivery on time with the better and best management time management skill, and then with the hope that you will have a customer that's satisfied later on, right? Okay, all right. That's actually very, very nice, and thank you very much for collaborating in this ice breaking. I'm really happy to see you very active. All right then. So let's start our event right. Global disruptive challenges in supply chain of 4.0. First, we're gonna talk more about the foundations theory about supply chain and especially in the industry 4.0. And also later on, we talk about the practicality. And please be active. I love to see you guys very active on the Slido game, but please be active if you have questions. Please write it on the chat box because we will have a prize for 3 best active participant today. We will give you OVO or GoPay. So please be active on the chat box and we will discuss it later on the Q&A sessions. All right. For now, I would like to invite Ibu Yolanda Masmita Siagian, MCIRR, as the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Tisakti. Good afternoon, Ibu. Are we already here? Can you guys hear my voice?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I don't think Buyol is here. Can I have maybe like Prof Farah to say hi first? Good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon for very nice guest lecture, Mr. Will and Bu Wayuningsi and all of the participants. Thank you for coming for today's join the seminar. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. Yeah, I think we'll have a little bit technical problem. Let's start our event right now, and then we can invite Bu Yolanda later on. I would like to invite Dr. Wahyuningsi Santosa ME, MPhil CRP, as lecturer of Faculty of Economics and Economics and Economics and Business Faculty in Universitas Trisakti. Not sure why I'm like struggling. Yes, good afternoon, Buning, again.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mbak Rai.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna start the event and then start with your presentations, Buning. But before that, I would like to introduce you to everyone here that Buning's is amazing lecture, I would say. Vice Chairman of Strategic Management doctorate program in Economics and Business Faculty in Universitas Trisakti, Coordinator of Operations and Supply Chain Management concentrations in MM program, researcher in strategic management, operations and supply chain management, auditor of quality insurance in Universitas Trisakti. Buning actually received her Bachelor of Management from Gajah Mada University, Master of Management from University of Indonesia, Master of Philosophy from Maastricht School of Management, and then a Doctor of Philosophy from Universitas Trisakti and Colorado State University, Certified Risk Professional or CRP, and also a Certified Assurance in Lean and Supply Chain CALSC at Pasas Institute, Singapore. All right, Buning. I think like everyone already amazed with your profile. Now I would like to give you all the time to have a presentation, maybe like more about the enablers and then the barriers in supply chain 4.0. Please welcome Ibu Wahyuningsi Santosa. The Zoom is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Rai, for the opportunity. Yeah, it's such an honor for me to be here with you all, guys. Thank you very much again. Okay, first of all, to Honorable Ibu Yolanda, is he already here now? Not yet. Okay, our Dean.
On the way, Bu. On the way, Bu.
On the way. Okay.
I just call him.
Okay.
I just call her.
Okay. Dear Honorable also Ibu Farah, as the head of MM program in FEB, and of course our honorable guest today, Mr. Will Goda from ACFS Port Logistics Australia. Thank you, Mr. Will. Welcome to Trisakti University. And Bapak Ibu sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, also my students, my colleagues from Trisakti University, and everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Oke, Bapak Ibu, we have an interesting topic to discuss today, supply chain 4.0. And as I am a lecturer, so I will discuss or discussing a little bit from the perspective of conceptual framework, theory, and then also from the empirical research, in this topic. And later, Mr. Will provide us with the implementation of supply chain 4.0 in his company. So I think Mr. Will, as our main speaker today, will provide us a very, very interesting discussion today. Okay, so my title is Supply Chain 4.0 Barriers and Enablers. Again, this is a short discussion, from the perspective of academic perspective. Okay, next. Well, firstly, supply chain. What is supply chain? Well, actually, I think I don't have to discuss anymore about supply chain because we can all see from the slido.com the ice breaking previously done by Mbak Ray. I think all of us already familiar with this term, supply chain. But maybe there are still some everybody that are still not really sure about supply chain. So from this slide, I think you can now very vastly getting to know, getting familiar, getting clear, with this term. So supply chain is very, very close to our daily life. Apalagi sekarang ya Bapak Ibu ya. We are now living in online era, let's say, or digital era. You can order food very fastly using GoFood, GrabFood, or ordering clothes, ordering maybe cell phone, or even BT and so on. Okay, so this all about supply chain, but supply chain is not in related with the end product that come to us as a customer, but it is also related with how to the manufacturer need, let's say, raw materials, component, and so on. They need to buy or to purchase the raw materials, so it means that they have to buy the product to the supplier. So it is also part of the supply chain. So supply chain start from the supplier, and then the raw material move to the manufacturer. The manufacturer process the product and they end with the end product or the final product. And then the final product will be delivered to the customer through the distributors. Sometimes we need warehouse, and then the transporters and retailers, and then the end customer. So this all the supply chain. So there are many parties involved in the supply chain. We can see here the supplier, the manufacturer, the transporter, distributor, retailer, warehouse sometimes, and of course the customer, the consumer also. Okay, so there are many parties involved, and when we are broaden the scope, let's say talking about global supply chain, it means that more parties involved in the supply chain. Okay, so supply chain is very, very close to our daily life. Yeah, sometimes people mention it as a supply network, yeah, or supply web. Okay, so why important to manage the supply chains? Yeah, I think it is very clear. Yeah, and even in the current competition, supply chain is one of the key important competitive advantage that you have created to win the competition. Yeah, we know the management, but the supply chain management competitive advantage is very important in the current competition. And in the current competition also, we know that teknologi so berkembang dengan pesat sekali ya, Bapak Ibu. And it is also happen in the supply chain area. There are many applications, many Internet of Things, 3D printing, and so on. Yeah, that we can use to improve the performance of our supply chain. And I think it is a must. Yeah, it is not a choice anymore, but it is a must. Later, Mr. Will tell us more about the implementation of this digital transformation in the company. Yeah. Next, Mbak Rai. Well, okay. If we compare the traditional and digital supply chain, I quote this from Nigel Duckworth, yeah, 2019. We can see here what are the benefits or the competitive advantage that we can create through implementing the digital supply chain. We can see in the left side, traditional supply chain. Look at the red sign, yeah. Frictions, delays, inefficiencies, bullwhip effect. Yeah, bullwhip effect is very, very very important issue in supply chain management. Yeah, it sometimes happen, and if it is happen, it's very bad to our company because it can cost many to us. Yeah, it can improve the cost. Yeah, and then the inventories, it is also in traditional supply chain, it can be in high level if we cannot manage it very well. Yeah, the COGS, out of stocks, it can also happen. And then the transparency is low, yeah, because the traditional supply chain, we don't use, let's say, the technology to manage the supply chain, so the transparency is a big problem, and also the agility and the velocity. Okay, now we can see what are the improvement, the competitive advantage that we can create by using the digital supply chain. So the agility can be improved, velocity, and the transparency can be improved. It is also, I think, maybe some of our audience here comes from the, let's say, public institution. Yeah, in the public institution, I think the current government, they also improve in using technology and apa sih pengadaan barang dan jasa gitu ya. So it is very, maybe not very transparent at all, but it's improved. Yeah, and we hope that in the next period it can better and going better. And then inventories can be reduced, because we can communicate very well. We can get data from each parties in the supply chain fastly, and it can be real-time information through the parties in the supply chain. So the inventories can be reduced, the COGS can be reduced because the cost is reduced. And then the traceability, it can be improved, yeah, using the technology, using the internet and so on. And then the product safety also. OSA, out of stocks, it can the performance of out of stocks can be improved. Means that the probability to stop the production because of the inventory is out of stock, it can be reduced. Yeah, the probability can be minimized. Okay, Mbak Ray. Yeah, this is I quote from McKinsey. Yeah, I think some of the audience are already familiar with this scheme. Yeah, from McKinsey. Yeah, it illustrates how the digital transformation would be happen in managing supply chain. Yeah, by implementing the supply chain 4.0. Yeah. Okay, I think the illustration is very clear. Yeah, about how let's see here that integrated ad hoc mobile planning, yeah, among the parties, and then machine gives feedback on current production capacity. The information can immediately send or transfer to the supplier, so the supplier can also very quickly understand or know that the let's say inventory is need to be fulfilled, yeah, in the current information, based on the current information. And yeah, we can see here, yeah, each of the parties in the supply chain can transfer any data very quickly and fastly. Okay, it sounds very, very interesting, of course. Next, Mbak Ray. Oh, okay, next. Next, please.
Sorry, Budin, technical problem. All right.
Okay. So, okay, what are the characteristics of supply chain 4.0? Yeah, based on Al-Khatani and Abidi, there are 6 important characteristics of supply chain 4.0. And yeah, from the Slido previously from Mbak Rai, some of these characteristics are already on the Slido, yeah, like collaboration, like responsiveness, transparency. Yeah, so I think it's really clear, yeah, the characteristics. Okay, let's see one by one. Firstly, yeah, firstly, transparency. Yeah, why? Because yeah, we are using technology. We are using we can transfer the information, the data very, very fastly, and everyone can see the data better. So transparency would be a very, very important characteristic of supply chain 4.0. And then the communication. Yeah, the communication. I think, yeah, the communication can be very, apa ya, fastly and then clearly, and then we don't have maybe not we don't have at all, but the barriers in the communications is minimized, yeah, because we have so many tools to do the communication among the parties in the supply chain. And collaboration, supply chain 4.0. Even in the traditional supply chain, actually collaboration is a must, yeah, because if you want to smooth the flow of the product from the supplier until the end customer, so you need collaboration. And by digitalization in this area, it can improve, yeah, the quality of collaboration among the parties. Flexibility, because end customer demand changes can be rapidly assessed, yeah, because we can make a very important collaboration or engagement with our customer. And then responsiveness, real-time response to planning and execution in a real-time activity also, yeah, to respond to changes in the supply chain. Okay, and then interoperability, yeah, works with various platforms and technology types. There are so many application platform from the technology that we can employ in the supply chain. Okay, I think we can move to the next slide. Am I still have time, Mbak Re?
Yeah, only 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Well, okay, from my literature review about the barriers and enablers for the supply chain 4.0, it can be summarized just like in the slide. Yeah, we can see here the 8 most important barrier and enablers to succeed the supply chain 4.0. Firstly, the barriers, the key barriers. Firstly, the number 1 until number 4, which I colored with blue. This is the most important barriers. Yeah, this is especially in developing countries, not in the industry countries. Yeah, in developing countries. The first is lack of technical expertise. Yes, I think it is also happen in Indonesia. Well, we have so many expertise in supply chain, but it's still limited. Yeah, if we compare with the Indonesia yang gede banget gitu ya, it's still limited. And then lack of support from regulatory authority or poor legislation. Okay, what about Indonesia? I think Indonesia already improve with the regulation, with the legislation, but the implementation of this regulation or the legislation, I think need to be improved. It's still developing, let's say like that. And then lack of commitment from top management. Okay, maybe some of the top management are coming from Gen X, maybe Gen apa ya? Gen Z. I mean jadul. Z for jadul. Okay, maybe the commitment is still lack. But I mean it's not for all of the organization. But from the research, it is still the key barriers in implementing SC4. Lack of commitment from top management. Support from the top of management. And then alternative resources and energy needs. And then also the cyber security issues, resistance to change. Resistance to change, sometimes it becomes a very, very big barrier in the company to do some change in the organization. Sometimes people very scary with the new idea or with the new technology because they think maybe it's not comfortable for them. Maybe they think that they have to learn more about the technology and it is not easy, let's say. So resistance to change can be a big problem. So, and then lack of investment in R&D, cost of improvement, and OSCM economic conditions. And I think the enablers can be some are the opposite of the barriers. Jadi like number 1, top management commitment and strategic alignment. It is very, very important. It is number 1 in the developing countries, especially top management commitment. The management should support about how to transform the digitalization in supply chain in their company, and it should align to the strategic decision in the organization. Yeah, it's a strategic issue, not just operational issue. And then employees empowerment. So you can improve the employees empowerment by knowledge sharing or training and so on. Yeah. And then governmental and institutional pressures. Yeah. It is the commitment and support from the government, internal innovation process, and then data center solution, interdisciplinary and holistic integration, customer and supplier integration. It is very important also to enable the supply chain 4.0 and valuing R&D and research center. And then the last slide. Yeah, this is for research actually in this area. This is a framework to analyze the potential challenges and pathways to realize SC4. I quote it from Federico 2019. There are four dimensions in evaluating the implementation of supply chain: managerial and capability supporters. It means the strategic vision of the organization, the HR organization skills, coordination, and so on. And then the technology levers itself, how the company implement the technology in the organization. Okay, and then the process performance requirements, habis ya. And from here we can benefit the strategic outcomes of the implementation of supply chain 4.0, cost reduction, customer focus, supplier focus, and so on. And the level of supply chain, we can supply chain 4.0 adoption, we can differentiate or we can categorize into four level. Initial, it is very early level, intermediate, advanced, and cutting edge. And the cutting edge, the highest level, means that the organization already integrate the supply chain 4.0 into the business process. Yes, start from the top management until the operational level. It's already embedded in the organization. So we can actually evaluate which level is our company in implementing SC 4.0 using this model, this framework from Federico. Yeah, is it in initial level, intermediate, advanced, or cutting? Okay, well, I think that's all from me. I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right. Thank you very much, Buneng. That's very enlightening. It's very interesting. For the foundations of. Then, thank you very much, Buneng, and please welcome Dr. Yolanda Masnita Siagian as the Dean Economics and Business Faculty of Universitas Tisakti. Good afternoon, Bu y'all.
Good afternoon, Rai. First, I want to say sorry because I misread the schedule. I thought it was 4 o'clock, but actually it turned out to be 3:30. Sorry, apologize me, please.
Okay. No worries, thank you very much for attending, Bu y'all.
Yeah. Okay, let's start. Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you, to whom I respect the Chairman and Secretary of the Magister of Management, Prof. Farah and Ibu Dr. Kurniawati, the Chairman and Secretary of the International Class, Ibu Luki and Ibu Dian, and of course the Chairman and Secretary for Excellent Class, Ibu Diah and Ibu Ovi, and of course our amazing speaker, Mr. Will Gueda, and my bestie, Ibu Wahyuningsi. Applause first. Okay. And all the webinar participants who have gathered this afternoon and are ready to discuss. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, talking about the supply chain is certainly very interesting. According to a research, 40% of the total cost of making a product is transportation costs, moving product from one stage to another. These logistic costs will certain be a vision if the stage can be minimized. Technological advance are one solution to cut costs that there are not efficient in supply chain management. The topic of the webinar is certainly very relevant and interesting. The current condition and situation are full of dynamics, namely volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity greatly affect the supply chain flow. So I think that's the topic for this seminar, this webinar, very interesting and very update kekinian. Generasi Z said that. So I said thank you to all the committee, for our audience. I ensure the seminar will be profitable and the next few hours will be enjoyable and fruitful for every one of you. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. We all really appreciate it. It's very very nice speech, I would say. Kekinian ya, Bu. All right. Okay. All right, let's continue to our next speaker, Mr. Will Goda. I would like to invite Mr. Will Goda again to the Zoom. Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, everyone. There we go. Hello, everyone.
All right. Now, very nice again to see you. And then before we going to the presentation, I would like to introduce again Mr. Will Goda to everyone. Maybe everyone just joined. Right now, Mr. Will Goda is actually having amazing portfolio, I would say. Curriculum detail, it's very amazing. Give me a second. Let me try to share my screen a bit. Okay. Mr. Will, do you want to share your screen by yourself later on?
Yeah, sure. Right. Excellent. Okay. I'll share my screen.
All right. Okay. Oops.
I'll let you do your one first, though, if you want to do yours first.
Okay. All right. So actually, Mr. Will Goda, as we know, Mr. Will Goda, we can call him Will Goda. Mr. Will Goda is the nickname. He is actually having 20 years of experience. Amazing. And 7 years of them is actually a general manager. Correct, sir? Been in various companies, startup, international company, corporate, and the domestic company as well. And then been around the world, Australia, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Dubai. Maybe Indonesia in the future, we don't know. Received his Executive Master of Business Administration, EMBA, from University of Wollongong, Master of Project Management from University of Sydney, Bachelor degree in Mechatronics Engineering from University Western Australia, and have a lot of qualifications like Diploma in International Trade and Logistics, and also Future CEO Program by CEO Institute supported by PwC, Lean Six Sigma IASSC Black Belt from eCareer Australia, and also Sales and Digital Marketing. Been everything, I would say, sir. From operations to sales and digital marketing. That's awesome. It's very great to have you here. So you can really share your expertise today.
Well, this is the second time I've had the opportunity to present to the university, and I'm very delighted to be invited again, and I'm very honored to be presenting with such an esteemed panel. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'll share my screen so I can go into my presentation.
Sure, sir. All right. While Mr. Wallace share his screen, I would like to remind everyone, please do be active and pay attention until the end of presentations, and please be active to the chat box, because we have 3 amazing prizes for 3 best active participants. All right, the Zoom is yours, sir. Please, everyone, welcome Mr. Will Goda.
Okay, let me just make sure. Bear with me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Have you? I cannot see your screen yet, sir. And I think you're still muted. I will be more than happy to help you with the screen.
Let me try one more time.
All right. Okay, there you go. I can see now.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. Well, just a little bit about myself. I have a executive MBA that I completed in 2018. I also have a master's in project management, a degree in mechatronics, and I've also got a diploma in supply chain logistics. I've, as introduced, 22 years experience in supply chain logistics and 7 of those in general management. Now, my career has primarily been focused around client services, strategic business development, account management, marketing, and continuous improvement and operational excellence. And I've been lucky to work in a few different countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, and Dubai. I'm one day, hopefully looking forward to going to Jakarta, but the bulk of my career has been in Australia. Now, just a little bit about ACFS Port Logistics. I just want to give you a quick high level on who we are as a business, and then we can go into the what we actually do. So ACFS is the largest port logistics company in Australia. Yes, all good. So it's currently trading at 500 million AUD and is exponentially growing. In relation to equipment, we have 350 trucks that operate out of the Australian ports across the country, with over 1,500 staff nationally. The business is well known for its portside activity, meaning we primarily focus on port logistics, not so much interstate or international. First in Sydney, first in Melbourne, second in Brisbane, third in Perth, and third in Adelaide. Sydney and Melbourne being the 2 biggest states in Australia. In relation to how many containers we move a year, we move approximately 850,000 containers per year, making us the largest mover in Australia. And our warehousing and container yards is what makes us impressive. We have 1.5 million square meters across the country. And at the moment, we are the industry leader in Australia for technology and milestone reporting, sorry. So what are the key focuses that Australian Air Express does? That ACFS does. So to give you some insight, we are primarily a landside logistics company, which means we focus on the Australian market. So transport is one of our biggest core services, which operates 24/7. We also have container unpacking and packing, which happens on port within various different warehouses. We also have e-commerce. So when you think of Amazon and you think of those global players, we do that, but from a domestic side. We also have quarantine services, and we also do aqua services. One of the biggest advantages that we have in the market is that we run empty container parks, and that's probably one of the most important things that connects us with the shipping lines across the country. And finally, it's information management. It's how we track, it's how we capture data, and it's how we use it. So that's a little bit about myself. That's a little bit about ACFS and what we do. Before going into how Industry 4.0 impacts ACFS, one important thing I wanted to make note and highlight is that Industry 4.0 is not digitization, it's not automation, and it's not robotics. That was the 3rd industrial revolution, and a lot of that technology has already been developed. The 4th industrial revolution introduces intelligent networking, and processes supported by clean data. And I'll get to the importance of clean data further down my slides. So it's not new technology. It is the application of said technology to our world that gives people the opportunity to change the way we live and work. So it's all about how that technology in the third industrial revolution impacts our lives today. So in short, it connects the physical and biological world to the digital world with one source of truth. And that's what I mentioned before about clean data. So just to go through some of the key points, the first revolution was all about mechanical production and the machines that were powered by water, by steam. And that evolved into gas and electricity. The progression of that, Industrial Revolution 2 or 2.0, was about how the people of that generation utilized and expanded on 1.0. So to give you a good example, if you look at that picture, that's the production line Henry Ford introduced back in the 1870s. They didn't introduce any new technology. They just utilized the applications of that technology. They came up with smart processes. And what that means is they impacted the industry by being able to produce far more goods, far more stock, and far more product faster, cheaper, and quicker. Now, just like the first revolution, the third revolution was digitization, was electronics, was robotics, was the Internet of Things. It was the progression of how the world became digitized. And the fourth revolution, not too dissimilar from the second revolution, is all about how those applications are used. What smarts are we utilizing to better change our world? So it's not about trying to automate what you're currently doing, but it is how that automation takes place. Now, the reason why I wanted to emphasize these four revolutionary phases is because when I start talking about ACFS and what we're doing, ACFS isn't inventing anything new. ACFS is reusing a lot of the technology that's already been introduced into the world, and we're utilizing it to better impact the way we work and bring us forward and make us one of the leading players in the market today. So Industry 4.0 for, I guess, ACFS is the adoption of the omni-channel fulfillment process. So with the rise of general consumption, primarily from online shopping, and the demand for real-time visibility for customers, it's effectively forced the way we communicate, we produce, and we consume. Now, once again, 3.0 developed all the technology around how we communicate and how we produce and how we consume. But 4.0 dictates the instructions on what that communication is, how that item is being produced, and how, as a consumer, we are taking on these goods. So looking at logistics companies, what that means is that we have had to change our identity to meet the demands of the new customer persona. Large logistics companies that run 3PL warehouses were forced to adopt smart initiatives such as the omni-channel strategy in order to diversify fulfillment for e-commerce solutions. Coupled with the surge of competition, ACFS has had to react very quickly to remain relevant. And I'm not sure how it's impacted other countries, but I know in Australia, companies that didn't adopt that omni-channel process where it interlinks everyone together, once again, how we communicate, we're not able to survive. And there's been a lot of companies during COVID that have actually gone into liquidation and have had to close down. So the single channel, the cross channel, and the multi-channel, though they're still using communication technologies that are no dissimilar to what we're using, the fact that they're not connecting all the channels, customer, shipping line, transport, warehousing, has been a real disadvantage for them and has cost them in efficiency and process. So how have ACFS digitized port logistics in Australia? And what is our contribution to Industry 4.0? Well, like most companies that operate, we run many different platforms. We run Oracle for our finance. We run paperless warehousing, which is our WMS, and that is the system that allows us to run our warehouse, whether we're doing 3PL, 4PL, or e-commerce. We have Maximus and Container Chain as our transport management system. We have One Stop that helps us communicate with the shipping lines. So as you can see, there's in any company, there's always a lot of different platforms that are used. So what we did was we brought in a new software package, and this software package is called MuleSoft, and that's what that M stands for. It's I think it's an $8 billion company owned by Salesforce. It's the largest middleware company in the world. And what we did is we introduced that into our business as a way of connecting all those applications that don't communicate with each other up to the one platform. And we did that with our customers. We did that with our warehouses and operational staff. We synced all the information so we are able to extract one invoice. And we also did it with our order status process, all via API connectivity, allowing all those applications to communicate up and allow us to start removing multiple sources of information that were duplicated, that are wasteful, or that were incorrect. From that level, we were able to take it further and set up customer-based portfolios where the customer can now be communicated to directly and communicate back down to us and have that information filter to all those different applications. And going further from that, the customer was able to share that information with their customer, making it much easier for them to share that information without having to filter it, without having to clean it, or without having to invest in business analysts to run different reporting data to share with those customers. So the whole idea was, how can the end user, being the all the way from the beginning. And as complicated as this looks, once it was set up, it was actually quite easy. But the whole idea was to have one source of truth. Now, when you're running multiple different applications, they all speak differently. They all have different fields, different settings, different programs they're running, different algorithms. Being able to take all that information up to a single platform, up to our customer, who can then communicate to their customer, allowed us to streamline the communication process far more effectively than it ever has been. And that's sort of the essence of 4.0. How do you take the existing technology in 3.0, the tangible items that have been evolved, and how do you bring that forward to impact your life? And how it impacts our life is, it's given us far more time to do effective tasks as opposed to wasting it on administration. No different to what Henry Ford did in the Revolution 2.0, where he took all that wonderful technology that was introduced to the world, the steam-powered motors, etc. He used it to build a production line and became the world leader in car manufacturing. Now, innovation and technology in relation to visibility and live data. With landside logistics, the current process was all about milestone mapping. So you would have a start at point 1 where the customer would send the information, and that would filter all the way through. And as you can see, you've got milestones that are being achieved and collected. So what you would see is, you would see the milestones as the container passes through certain phases be uploaded to the system, and the customer would see that stamp or that milestone so they know exactly where their goods are. Is it on port? Is it on a truck? Is it in one of the container yards, etc.? And how that was managed was by a system or technology called geofencing, which a lot of people are very familiar with. You effectively put a border or a fence around a certain location You make sure that either the container or the truck or the train carrying the container has a black box in it that can be triggered. So when it crosses that geofence, it sends a message up. That was generation 3.0. How that was done. In today's world, just like Uber, people want to see their container or their parcels moving through the process. They want to know exactly where it is. And that's what 4.0 is. It's all about smart processes today. So it's all about connecting all that information to the single source of hub, giving the customer the ability to see all the information from all the different platforms, having them all communicate together through middleware, through a middleware platform that just allows that customer to see exactly where it is at any given time. Now, what's some of the key strategies of 4.0? Well, because we run trucks, because we run large forklifts and other items that use a lot of emission, one of the I guess missions we have is zero emission for the last mile delivery, and that is to minimize the fuel and the gas consumed. So the technology has been developed. It's up to us now to try and minimize that. So our vision is to start from electric cranes, electric vehicles, etc., and start to introduce them into the industry. So far the journey with Australia, we are the world leaders when it comes to remote control trucking. So because we're very big in the mining industry, primarily across the western part of Australia, we've been pioneers in having remote trucks and remote vehicles. Unfortunately, on the east coast of Australia, where most of the suburbs and the roads are built, because of the limitations with the way the roads are built, there's been a bit of a lag in adopting those types of units and vehicles into the country. So the one thing we have adopted is the introduction of Euro 6 vehicles, the Mercedes-Benz Euro 6 vehicles. It's got an advanced fuel efficiency that allows us to not achieve zero emission, but significantly reduce the emissions. Another part of the process is also introducing rail into the network as well, to try and get as many containers on the rail process as possible. But the back end of that is, once again, how does it impact the business? It impacts the business by reducing the costs, improving efficiency and emission, and having those savings passed on to the customer, as well as giving them real-time visibility. So what does the real-time visibility look like? So from a dashboard perspective, the customer can go online and they can track all the information about their containers and what's in their containers, but they can also use the GPS network to track exactly where their container is. No different to catching an Uber or a Grab or one of those automated platforms. And this is where the impact comes in. Knowing where your goods are, knowing how far away they are. If you're operating a warehouse and you've got people waiting to unpack the goods of that container to get to their customer, knowing when that container can come on board can save you hundreds, not thousands of dollars an hour. Having that type of information in that supply chain process streamlines it, making it more cost effective throughout. Innovation and technology in port and off-port warehousing. So I've spoken a little bit about the trucking side of it, getting the containers to the warehouse. The next slide talks a little bit about what happens when it gets to the warehouse. Now, once again, the technology in the warehouse isn't 4.0. 4.0 is the next phase, which is amplifying the existing the warehouse management system. And a few examples of that is the pallet location. So Industry 3.0 gives us instructions on how to get to the pallet. So when you're talking about a warehouse that could be 60 or 80,000 square meters, knowing where the pallet is at any given time or knowing where the carton is at any given time can save you many hours of searching and looking. 3.0 introduced the technology of the scanners, the systems, and everything, so we know where the pallet is in the warehouse. But what 4.0 is it took it to the next level, gave you instructions on where that pallet is, gave you instructions and information on how many forklifts were in that aisle at that time, so you know when the quiet time is and when the busy time is. Gives you the shortest route to get there, but also gives you real-time information that this aisleway is busy at the moment, don't go there, it's blocked. Or this aisleway is free at the moment, you can go there and pick up your consignment or your parcel. It's the most efficient time to pick it up. And how that impacts us is it gives us a better efficient workflow, reduces the work hours or the time takes to do a task, which means you can do more in less time. The other thing is greater efficiency and accuracy. So we spoke about robotics, and robotics is something that was invented back in 3.0. But the robotics picking the consignments or the parcels and bringing them over to the cross-dock area for dispatch is taking it to the next level. Or voice picking and vision picking out loud and having the data pick that up and upload it into the WMS is once again all about that smart working. Smarter storage and increased equipment life is a key part of sustainability as well. Being able to have your equipment far more efficient means it lasts longer, means it has a longer life, and by being able to predict what you need to do, as opposed to making guesses or assumptions on data that isn't clean, obviously creates a lot of downtime, it creates a lot of loss, and you're not able to produce as much as you need to remain sustainable. In today's market, prices have become so lean that you don't have a choice. You have to make these investments in order to operate far more effectively as a way of remaining open for business, as they say. So when you look at the data management process of the warehouse, it all starts from multiple different platforms, as I spoke about before. It captures all the different functionalities of the warehouse. It collects all the data, and then it transitions that information through the flow of operation. And it all comes back down to how you manage your data. And as I explained above, we've built an ecosystem, a digital ecosystem that allows us to capture all the information, clean the information, and then present it live by removing duplication and wastage and all the other unnecessary information. And just like the transport dashboard that we have online, you have the exact same thing with the warehousing technology. You're able to track where all your pallets and consignments are. You're able to make it available in an instant without having any delays. You can track your delivery. It allows you to simplify the final mile, and it allows the customers to receive it on the same day or the next day within the morning. Most people now, well, in Australia anyway, when they order something online, they expect it that day or the next afternoon. Those types of demands can't be met just with technology. Those types of demands can only be met when you combine that with good, efficient processes and networking. Smart innovation and technology in fleet. So I spoke a little bit before about the trucks and the trucks we operate, and green technology is a big part of that process as well. And moving towards zero emissions and purchasing the right types of vehicles can make a significant difference in not only reducing your carbon footprint, but also operating as a whole. So one thing ACFS has done is we've invested heavily in the latest technology, not only within the vehicle, but within the database that controls the monitoring of the vehicle GPS tracking technology. So all our trucks have GPS tracking capabilities. They come with all the technology that you would generally see. One big thing that a lot of people didn't recognize or know was the trucks, when they park up and they're having to be unloaded, they can stay up to 1 to 2 hours running or on, so the truck driver can keep the air conditioning on to stay cool. Simple things such as adding technology to allow the truck to continue to operate without having the engine on running or idling for 2 hours, as a business has saved us a significant amount of money, but also reduced the amount of nitrogen oxide that's released into the air, once again reducing our carbon footprint. So that once again, the technology has always been there, but it's about how we utilize it a lot more effectively. So a summary to smart innovation and technology. So there are 4 points I want to go through that, I guess, summarize some of the key points that I've spoken about. So the first one is the digital connectivity. At this first stage, the opportunities are to improve productivity, quality, and efficiency, and better manage risk through integration and automation, Internet of Things solutions, AI, cloud, advanced analytics, etc. So once again, it's about, we've got the digitization, it's been introduced. It's about now, how do we utilize those opportunities to improve the way we live? Digital engineering. This full digital engineering process includes increasing the intelligent automation and blockchain-based smart contracts, and can come all to play. So effectively means that we're building that ecosystem to bring it all together and create those processes and increase the intelligence of those processes, not necessarily just using the tech, but finding the best way of using that tech. Product design. So it's all about enhancing product design and develop smart products and cultivating upstream and downstream connected ecosystems. So if I go back to that networking chart that I built on how we had all those applications and how we connected all those applications up, we effectively redesigned our product, and our product effectively is sharing information. And we used to share information on various different PDF and Excel documents. We used different types of platforms in order to do that, like SAP and Salesforce. And the customer used to receive 2 or 3 different types of reports on the same container with different results. The product now we have is a single source of truth. And it's not only increased our credibility, but it's increased our brand within the market. And the last one is the digital operations. So develop whole market services and business models that can disrupt the market and the competition. So competition is a really big thing, as you can appreciate, because it is the one thing that enables you to push that little bit better to be number one in the market. Now, as our competition is continually investing in new technology, not understanding that it's the use of that technology and the smart use of that technology that makes the difference, we've continually invested in CI initiatives. We've continually invested in Six Sigma initiative type solutions in order to come up with those product designs, in order to come up with those unique solutions that make us the Henry Ford of the Revolution 2.0. So look, thank you very much. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I hope you got a little bit out of that presentation. The objective of the presentation was to highlight the difference between 3.0 and 4.0, and I guess share the understanding that 3.0 is to 4.0 what 1.0 was to 2.0. It's that continuation of smart thinking, smart application, and implementation that is going to impact the way we live and the way we work, not necessarily inventing new technologies such as a new robotic arm that's going to collect the goods, but how that robotic arm is going to impact the daily workers and improve their lives to become more efficient.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Will. It was sweet and short, I would say. And my takeaway actually for supply chain 4.0 is how we can utilize the technology that already there. And then we actually make it from, like you mentioned, digital connectivity, digital engineering, product design, digital operations, and you also mentioned about making digital ecosystem with AI, with data, and how visualize it like with the dashboard, and it's gonna be easy for users, and a very, very interesting improvement from the previous industry, I would say.
Well, look, a good example I always use is all our trucks have GPS, and most cars now, or most phones, have maps.
Yeah.
So if you want to go somewhere, you type in where you want to go, and it'll tell you where to go. It'll say turn left, turn right, go straight. What we've tried to introduce with our trucks is that smart piece to say, don't turn left, there's too much traffic, turn right, and then turn left. It's that different approach. And it's utilizing that current technology to bring in smarts to impact, for example, that driver. If you save, we calculate the minute with our drivers. So if each minute is $2.50, you can imagine how much money you're saving when you're taking 10 minutes or 15 minutes off the driver's route. Now, the thing is that drive at 2 o'clock in the afternoon is going to be different to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Definitely.
So it's about making sure the system understands and reads exactly the surrounding environment to make the right decision of that time, not a milestone where it's a frozen period in time, but real time.
Understood. All right. Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that, Mr. Will. We actually have some questions as well. Let's go to the chat box right now. There is and I will give it to you and Ibu Ning as well later on. The first one is from Mr. Amir Fikri. The questions to the speaker. Nowadays, what caused a supply chain and logistical issue to arise? What effect did COVID-19 play in all of this? When do you think this issue will be resolved, and how? Thank you very much. Okay, I think the first questions I will give it to Ibu Ning. Hello, Ibu. Ibu Ning.
Okay,
all right.
Okay.
Yes, Ibu Ning. Do you want to answer the questions from Mr. Amir Fikri?
Oh, okay. I will share my opinion about this. Pak Amir Fikri, ya.
Yep.
What caused the supply chain and logistical issues to arise? Previously I'm already mentioned about the barriers and enablers, and some barriers are, I think, it is applicable in especially in Indonesia. I think if we are talking about Indonesia, so like lack of expertise, so the technology is so sophisticated available now, but I think we still need to improve our expertise to be able to employ this technology in order to improve our supply chain performance. So technical expertise is one of problem, I think, but other problem is I think it's also related with culture if we are talking about Indonesia again, but because resistance to change, it's sometimes related with culture. Sometimes related with culture when we are, let's say, enjoying our comfortable area, and then we have to learn something new that it is, let's say, not easy to learn. It is something a barrier to improve the performance. So resistance to change, I think one of the important barrier also in Indonesia, but maybe not all of the people in Indonesia, yeah, but I think it's a problem also. So because of the resistance to change and cultural issue, then the participation of people to support the improvement in the supply chain, yeah, it will be less participation, I think.
Got it.
Yes. Okay, so I think there are many issue. What about COVID-19? I'm not pessimistic actually, but I think it's I read also from some of the research, especially in developing countries, And then what effect did COVID-19 play in all of this? Well, actually, COVID in some level, it accelerate the digitalization process in Indonesia, right, Mbak Re?
Yeah.
Previously, I'm not really familiar with, let's say, application use in the education where I am in. So how to use Zoom and so on, yeah. And I think now even I think all of people in Indonesia is now most of the people in Indonesia is now
familiar.
Their literation of the technology is improved better
True.
compared to the previously. So I think this is actually an opportunity, to capitalize this condition to improve the operation process. So there are many negative aspects, of course, in because of the COVID-19. But there are also some positive aspects, it's like the acceleration of the technological level, literation of Indonesian people. Okay, I think that's some of the ideas, but right.
All right, thank you very much, Buning. Hopefully it's answered your questions, Pak Amir Fikri. Anyway, guys, before we continue to the next questions, I would like to remind you, Mas Benny already shared the form for you to fill up for the attendance and an evaluation form. Please do complete the form because we only give the certificate for those of you who complete the form for the attendance and evaluation form. So please complete the form so we can give you the certificate later on, e-certificate later on. For those of you who hasn't actually completed the form, unfortunately, we cannot send you the e-certificate. All right, next questions. Thank you very much, Buning. Next question. This is very interesting. I would give it to Mr. Will Goda. Mr. Will, this is from MMTC Hall. Taiwan and China geopolitical tensions rising manufacturing costs in traditional projection hubs and natural disaster. The pandemic disruptions have shown the necessity of rebalancing global supply chains towards more regional networks. As the business player once stated that reacting to recent disruptions, supply chain investment have gained momentum across Asia Pacific. Many companies are developing alternative buffer sites to minimize disruptions risk, while others are building digital control towards to end-to-end visibility over regional partners. What do our speaker thinks and ACFS think about the statement above? Okay, those statements above. This kindly relate to Indonesia as a future and development opportunity. Thank you very much. Mr. Will, do you want to answer these questions?
No, it's a very, very good question because there's obviously throughout the last couple of years, COVID has rebirthed a lot of, I guess, companies and taken them to the second phase of their life cycle, where it's done the opposite for some others. I've been out of China for a few years, so I guess intelligence in that region is probably a little bit outdated. It was pre-COVID, but I do know from an Australian point of view, being where I am, companies have been very quick to react in relation to making investments to beef up and increase their technology, but it's come at a significant cost. And as a result of the surge of over ordering and a significant increase in volume leaving China and coming to Australia, I think China is one of the largest, for Australian imports, China is one of the main sources of volume. We have had a significant issue in trying to maintain the level of volume that's been coming into our country from China. It's been so, I guess, horrific that some vessels have actually stopped coming to Australia, and some of the vessels have been waiting for weeks, up to 22 weeks, just to gain access to the terminals. So it's actually been, I'd say, a very painful process and a painful time for Australia in relation to that COVID period and taking in that additional volume. And as a result of a lot of those increases in cost, not only in operating cost, but purchasing of new assets and hiring more people, there's actually been a bit of a delay in the amount of money companies have been able to progress with their innovative initiatives. There were two parts of that question. Can you give me the second part as well, just to make sure that I answer it correctly?
The second part is that the SE business player once stated that reacting.
Yeah. So, and look, had gotten to a state of comfort, have had to react. ACFS very likely wasn't one of those companies, but our two of our competition that were a little bit larger than us at the time had come a little bit dormant, and were slow to react to the changing market. Mm-hmm. They didn't expand their warehousing. They didn't take up the resources required. And as a result, they were no longer able to service their clients, and their clients were looking elsewhere. It just got so congested that there was no way of monitoring any of the activities, and everyone had to, I guess, get out of the office and go into the warehouse to actually keep the operational flowing. Yeah. No different to what's happening at the airport with Qantas announcing that anyone that's actually in the office has to now come down and handle the baggage. And I'm not sure if that's happening in Jakarta at all, but there's been a significant step backwards for some organizations, and most of them are the small ones that aren't agile. A lot of the public listed companies that say they're agile, but really don't have any agility because they're so large and there's so many different layers of approval, have actually been very slow to react, and as a result have lost millions of dollars in their profit margins.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Will. Hopefully it answer your questions. It's very, very good questions from MMTC Hall. I don't know what's the full name of it. All right, last questions. Unfortunately, we do have limited time, so we only choose 3 questions. This is both for Ibu Ning and also Mr. Will. And then I keep reminding you guys, please do fill in the form, the attendance and the evaluation form, because we're going to send you the e-certificate. If you don't fill up the form or complete the form, unfortunately, we cannot give you the e-certificate. Thank you very much. All right, last questions from Muhammad Taufik. Challenge in Indonesia: how to integrate multiple platform from multiple company running supply chain business such as ACFS with government systems such as BC/custom or custom clearance and quarantine body, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Fisheries. So it's like combining between platform and then also department and government. Maybe to Bu Ning first. Bu Ning, do you want to answer the questions first, and then maybe Mr. Will, you can also answer the same questions. Okay, Bu Ning?
Yeah, thank you, Mbak. Thank you, Mbak Rai.
Yes.
Okay, I think this is related with collaborations, collaborations among parties in the supply chain and even among countries, The first important thing, according to me, I think later Mr. Will complete, is the shared vision and mission. I mean that all of the party in the collaboration, they should have, they should share their vision and mission. They should align the vision and mission and how to operate with supply chain. To collaborate in managing the flow of product during the supply chain from the beginning until the if it is not aligned, I mean the alignment of the vision and mission of the parties, I think it's difficult to collaborate. So mereka harus sepemahaman gitu ya. And then the supply chain would be more complex, of course, if we are collaborate among countries. But if we have again the shared vision and mission, I think it will be easier to be managed. I think that's one point important.
Okay.
Mbak Ray.
All right. Thank you very much, Buning. Mr. Will, do you mind to add more into that?
Okay, so I guess it was actually well answered. The challenges, I guess, in Australia in relation to integrating with multiple different, affiliated organisations such as customs, government, etc. Within Australian market is the quality of IT experts we have in the country. We outsource a lot of it. Unfortunately, we don't insource, and it isn't as a result of not understanding what's going on or the companies not wanting to invest, because a lot of the major organizations now in Australia, they've moved from FTP to now connecting via API, which is a much faster, quicker and cheaper way. But resources in Australia is a big thing, and a lot of these integration projects can take anywhere from 1 month to a year, depending on what type of work needs to be done in the background, because it's not always the data is in the right way. But with us in Australia, we're working towards trying to have that co-share of information, but our biggest challenge is the resources to do it. The other challenge is not a lot of people like sharing their data, because whoever controls the data controls the narrative. So you sometimes get a bit of hesitation from certain organizations not wanting to share their information, because by sharing information, it allows their customers to have choice. And with some companies, they don't want their customers to have choice. They want to keep their customers within. And by controlling the data, they control the customer in a way. So there's two major obstacles there. One's resources, the other one is the hesitation.
Okay, one's resources, and then the other one is hesitations, right? Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Buning and Mr. Will. Hopefully, it answer your questions, Mr. Muhammad Taufik. All right, because we do have limited time. Unfortunately, we only choose like 3 questions for today. But before we close our event today, thank you very much. Oh, one more thing, I'm really happy to see the vibe on the chat box is really alive, and it's really good to have you all very active. Thank you very much, guys. And then right now we're going to the next and then the last event. We're gonna have like awarding ceremony. So Mas Benny, do you mind to share the screen for awarding certificate? While we're waiting for Mas Benny to share the screens, I would like to remind you again, guys, please do complete the attendance form and evaluation form, so we'll be able to send you the e-certificate. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, this is the first the first certificate of appreciation for Mr. Will Goda from Memluki. Memluki,
Yes.
hello.
Hello.
Good
Oh, that's
afternoon.
wonderful. Thank you very much.
All right, I think we do have a little bit technical issue. When the technology fails us, I think. Or is it me? Is it me that breaking up, guys?
Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, Memluki. I think the connection is not really good.
I really appreciate the curiosity. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we will send it to you. Thank you. Yeah, I think Memluki's connection is not pretty good right now. This is we actually have this awarding certificate ceremony to Mr. Will. Okay, applause for Mr. Wu. Thank you very much for being our speaker today. Really appreciate it. Okay. This is the certificate, sir. The certificate is awarded to Mr. Will Goda, MBA, for as a speaker for Global Disruptive Challenge in Supply Chain 4.0, organized by Magister Management and International Class Program, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Tisakti. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored. Thank you.
Yes. Next, we do have Prof. Farah that will give a certificate of appreciations for Dr. Wahyuningtyas Santosa. The Zoom is yours, Prof.
Yes. Thank you, Bu Ning, for your very good, very interesting presentation. I'm really appreciate and thank you. This is just the certificate for you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ibu. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's an honor for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ibu Ning, this is the certificate of appreciation for Ibu Ning. Thank you very much for being speakers for today's event, Global Disruptive Challenges in Supply Chain 4.0. Thank you very much. And then Bu Ning, Ma'am Lucky, Prof. Farah for attending, and then for all ladies and gentlemen being participants and very active today, really appreciate your effort and very active vibe, and I'm very happy to see that. Hopefully today's event can give you more insights about a supply chain and then operation in Industry 4.0, especially the difference between previous industry, Mr. Will Goda mentioned previously. Thank you very much once again, and I'll see you very soon in the next event. Have a very good evening. Bye-bye.